All right. Please confirm to me if you can hear me clearly. Welcome. Just be good to type in the chat. Let me know if you can see me and hear me. All right. So it would be cool to know that we are together. Hello? Are you there? Can you please confirm, type in the chat box, let me know. Those of you who have my WhatsApp line, you can send me a WhatsApp to confirm that you can see and hear me. Those of you who have my number, just send me a message or at least type in the chat box. Okay, I'm taking it that the thumbs up means you can hear me. Okay, cool. All right, let's pray. Dear loving Father, we thank you for this special moment, this special time that where two or more gathered in my name, there I'll be also. So we thank you that you're in us and around us, and that you're using our voices, minds, our thoughts, our emotions, our experiences to create a great learning experience on how we can grow our confidence and self-esteem in our personal lives and even the lives of those around us. We thank you for a God victorious session, and we thank you for the divine joy, divine grace, divine love, divine abundance, divine protection, and divine provision. We thank you, we love you, we bless you, we honor you, we appreciate you. In the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, we pray and believe. Amen. Amen and amen and amen. So you can type in the chat box to confirm that. Let me see if, let me check on my phone here to confirm that, okay, good, fantastic. At least I've received a message that I am seen and heard. I hope, and I'm curious, please type in the chat box where you're tuning in from. That would also be cool to know where you're tuning in from. Is it Jamaica, Kampala, Kabale, London, Tocho? Where? Let's go. Let me hear where you're tuning in from. And then we get this started shortly. Tell me where you're tuning in from and how you are feeling right now, right here. How are you feeling? Where are you tuning in from? That would be cool to know at this particular moment, such that I can celebrate not only your presence, but who knows, your location too. All right. We can also celebrate your location at the right time, of course. Let me see, where are we at? Okay. So, okay. Let's enable the editing, not the editing. So, Okay, yeah, set. Good, good. So just was double checking something to confirm that we are all and well. So anyhow, it's Ethan Victory here, and we are going to now. You might be noticing a logo of Ethan Mussolini, then the name Ethan Victory. Well, I've just changed my name, so still yet to change some of the branding materials and all that stuff. So when you see those Ethan Mussolini, then Ethan Victor, don't get lost. It's just same guy, different name, but in the near future, all will be showing Ethan Victory. At least legally, I've changed everything to Victory. It's just that some of these things have stayed with them for decades and decades. So it takes a bit of time to change some things, but soon all will be well. Okay, just know that soon all will be well. Okay, cool. So let's get this party going, for lack of a better word. Is it lack of a better word? That's not good English. So I want to share my slides such that we can follow along comfortably and easily. It would be good to know whether you're actually seeing the slides. Let me know if you're seeing the slides. You can type in the chat box to confirm to me that you're seeing the slides. Those of you who have my WhatsApp line, you let me know, you communicate so that I get to know that indeed we are together. Are you seeing the slides? Because I've shared the slides. I suppose you should be seeing the slides. Should be showing building confidence and self-esteem for teenagers. Okay. Or you can type a thumbs up, like buttons, that I know you're seeing me and that you can still hear me clearly and all is well. Okay. All right. So I can see them. Okay, good. I appreciate that when you respond. Thank you, Beatrice. So I'm excited about this particular subject because confidence and self-esteem truly, truly transformed my life. The reason I'm saying that is I grew up with very low confidence and self-esteem, and that impacted me negatively in more ways, in very big ways than you can imagine. So just my story is that I was born in a very humble background, and I always like qualifying that with the fact that when you hear someone say very humble, that's a political word or diplomatic way of saying very poor. My father was a P2 graduate, and I grew up most of my life, Muzigo. Muzigo is one room, or it's like literally like where I'm in my home office stroke reading room, and that's where I am now. My reading room stroke office at home is more or less where we're staying. So shows you what God's grace looks like. So anyhow, I grew up with very low confidence and self-esteem, partly because of the poverty, uh, in a sense that having tattered clothes, hearing negative declarations, you're stupid, you're foolish, you're this, you're that. And talking about which, talking about the negative declarations, if you're a parent, please, please do not declare negativity around your children, because I know there are some parents here. And if you have parents or relatives, you can use Uncle Ethan as an excuse and say, you know what? Uncle Ethan says that when you call us negative names or bad names, they affect our confidence and self esteem. Would you kindly consider advising me or challenging me to do better rather than calling me negative names or making negative declarations? So, but say it respectfully because being respectful is extremely important. You don't want to speak in such a way that is not respectful. So please always speak in a respectful manner. And if you're a parent or relative, or a guardian watching this, please, you prophesy positivity for your children. You prophesy life. You prophesy, you say life giving things, that the tongue has the power to give life or death. So let's give our young people a sense of life. Now, talking about which, even you as a teenager, I'm assuming you're a teenager or whether a teenager is wherever you are, always be the kind that speaks life into people's lives. Because when you do speak life into people's lives, then other people also speak life into you. So it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's a sign, you say boomerang. In Uganda, they have a saying, that what goes around comes around. So if you want people to declare positivity into your life, also be the kind that prophesies and communicates positivity to other people. That's extremely powerful and useful for you as an individual. So back to my story. Yeah, so unfortunately I used to hear lots of negativity around, not just for me, but also my siblings, and that generally negatively impacted my life in a bad way. So I would be looking at, for example, my neighbors, they would be having milk and bread, and I'm consuming oxygen. I'm like, oh Lord. Then I was skinny. I wasn't very athletic. I wasn't gifted sports wise. And therefore, I wasn't among the popular kids at school. Though in primary, I was always among the top three. So that, in a way, at least I was known as a bright kid, but not the ones who are seen publicly in those big sports days, for example, and that sort of thing. So apart from academics, I didn't have much going for me, but of course I'm very grateful that I was doing well in academics. And I was bullied. I used to lose many fights, and I mean, when you combine all those, being skinny, soft-spoken, I was withdrawn, more or less of an introvert, and so I didn't have much going for me apart from academics, to be honest. And I put on my first proper shoes when I was going to senior one. I was 13 years old then. Now, some of us who are watching this live stream, most likely you are, whether you're watching it live or you're watching the recording, there's a 99.9999% chance that you put on your shoes, you put on proper shoes before the age of 13. So I wasn't that lucky. So, anyhow, I did well in my primary. When I was 9 years old, lost my mother, which made my life very challenging because I had two stepmothers. One liked me, the other one did not like me per se. And in that process, again, but one thing that my father implanted in my brain was that I don't have cows to give you, I don't have land to give you, I'm giving you education. He was a P2 graduate and he was a tailor. So at least that I knew in my head that I must pay attention to my education. So I put in a lot of effort in that, and by God's grace, I passed well in my P7, and I have to thank Teacher Benon, in case you're listening in, and Benon Waswa. Yeah, he was called Benon Waswa. He was our mathematics teacher, and I know he's still alive. So thank you, Mr. Waswa Benon. Thank you, thank you. He played a crucial role in me doing well in my primary. He was a primary school teacher. And sometimes, because of my not having a mother and my father pushing me to make sure that I pass highly, he would sometimes even offer me accommodation, sleep at his place at night. He would make me wake up to read and um, to read, and also I believe also in O levels, yes. Sometimes he would also allow me to stay at his place, revise from there, so there's limited distraction from home, because again, I told you it was musical sort of the setting. So that helped me. I also passed well in all levels. So thank you again, teacher Ben Onwaswa, and thank you, dad, who passed on. His soul rest in eternal peace. So anyhow, when I was in senior, so passed well in senior four, then in senior five, that was a turning point in my life. And let me tell you what it was. So there was a debate competition. It was called Constituent Assembly Debate. Now, the way we have members of parliament today in Uganda is the same way we had representatives from each constituency. They were called constituent assembly delegates or representatives. Now, also children had representatives from each district. And there was a debate competition at the district level. And luckily enough, I was the district champion from Barra district from the main boys category. So there had to be a best boy and best girl. So I was the best boy, the best dude. All right, I was the best dude. By the way, please let me know, type in the chat box if you can still hear me clear. I know you said you see them. I'm not sure about the hearing. Let me first confirm whether the message I got was about the hearing also. Um, okay, so that's what was going on, and the key is I was when I was doing this, I noticed something very interesting, and that was the essence that, hey, when you compete and you win, then you feel good about yourself. So what happened is at that moment it changed my identity. Like my confidence and self-esteem would shoot through the roof by 1,000%. Because now from an unknown kid, now I was known at school. Now from someone who did not fully appreciate himself, I was like, oh, I have a gift that can take me places. I have a gift that can move people through words, through the power of words. And what I learned from that moment, from that conversation, from that event, was that once you discover your gift and you work at it and you work on it, then it automatically transforms your personal identity. So I cannot emphasize this enough, my friend. Take it from Uncle Ethan from now onwards, that figure out what your talents and gifts are and work on them as if your life depended on them. And you'll be amazed because your life depends on them anyhow. The Bible describes that this year man skilled in his craft will serve before kings. And guess that what I'm talking about actually served me big time. And because then, all of a sudden, from nowhere, I found myself in places that I never imagined I could be. So anyhow, my confidence shoot through the roof, and now all of a sudden, I was like, huh, this is cool. So I started attracting leadership positions. I started engaging in opportunities. So a whole world opened up to me. And even in my adult life, I always like part of what I do is I coach some adults, some people in the art of public speaking, and I always tell them, look, that's something that can open so many doors for you. Something I would encourage you to do actually. This wasn't part of the conversation of the plan, but I feel inspired to share this with you. There are certain skills I would encourage you to master that will also change your life. One is public speaking, because then you can influence the crowd. Number two, Beatrice Nambi, thank you, by the way. I appreciate the fact that you're very active. So number two is sales and marketing, because then you can sell your ideas or concepts. Number three is leadership and management, because then you can guide people, you can lead people in different ways and means. And number four is time management and productivity. Because if you can manage your time well, then you produce a lot. When you produce a lot, it's good for you, my friend. All right? It's very, very powerful. And then the mindset, now this is not a skill, but a mindset is confidence and self esteem. Because when you have high confidence and self esteem, then it boosts all these other skill sets. Now, the skill sets I've shared with you, these will impact your whole life, your whole way of being. So that's very, very powerful. And I have to mention that. So back to my story. I was in senior five then. My confidence and self-esteem shoot through the roof. Unfortunately, shortly after that, my father died. So now I was officially an orphan. And luckily enough, my father had a good name. He was a very helpful man. And that's something to learn also. Is it's my father's friends and the partial bursary from Banga Municipal Council that helped me to finish A levels. And by God's grace, before I tell you what happened after that, is the other thing I learned from that experience is that a good name for a parent is an asset. So if you're a parent listening to this, one of the best inheritances you can give your children is your name. Because if my father didn't have a good name, then I would have been stuck and most likely I wouldn't be talking to you here. Then if you're a child and you have a good parent or your parent has a good name, thank God, be very thankful, okay? And so anyhow, and I'm very grateful for all those who contributed. My then shortly, so senior five, then seniors went to senior six. Luckily, I did very well. I also passed highly and qualified for government sponsorship to go to Makerere University. I'm very grateful for that, for the government sponsorship. And at Makerere University, while there, one of the things that my father told me, by the my father told me certain things, said, be honest, work hard, greet your elders, make friends. The other thing he taught me was wherever you go, speak up. And talking about respect to your elders, I would say respect your elders, respect your parents, respect everyone. And I also have to add, especially your parents, because they brought you into this world. So even those parents who are, in quotes, giving you a hard time, just honor them. The Bible is very clear to honor your father and mother because they are a stream, they are a channel of your blessings. So if you really want to be blessed, bless your parents. Even when they have done things which you feel are painful, forgive them and bless them. They are your parents. You never have any other biological parent, period. You could call people uncle or daddy or mommy, that's okay in the African setting, especially. But you can only have, you know, one set of biological parents. Please respect them and honor them no matter what. And I should say also respect people in general terms. So anyway, at the university, one of the principles that helped me, which I would encourage you to exercise, is my father said always speak up. So when I was at the university, my career university, I always spoke up. I always expressed myself clearly and loudly. And someone saw my talent and recommended me to represent Uganda at the Commonwealth Youth Forum. And while there, uh, I even met Prince Charles then, who is now king. And again, it reminds us of that verse in the Bible, this a man skilled in his craft, you will serve before king. So that's been true. So please find your gift and talent and work on it, my friend. So came back, not came, well, of course I had to come back. And in 98, I met a gentleman who was preaching about never giving up. I even talked about him on my LinkedIn profile recently. The late Dr. Gerard Serwaji was a pastor. So I said, can you coach me? Can you mentor me? He said, yes. And he started teaching me things like keeping time, setting goals, influence, and all these things, which was very helpful. Graduated, but before graduating, I wanted to become a motivational speaker because I discovered I had a gift in speaking and a gift in encouraging people. So that's how I ended up calling myself that's what I want to be. So Anyhow, just know I later decided to be self-employed, got opportunities to do internships. That's a story of another day. Internships, someone recommended me. Julius Muchunguzi now is now the PRO of Electoral Commission. He's the one who recommended me to go and represent, to be at the, to attend a fellowship in the US. Again, I believe two things, two lessons learned from that. Number one, I made myself very visible, so he was able to see me, and two, I was expressive and communicative. Okay. So anyhow, just know that as of now, I've been self-employed since 2003, doing motivational speaking, training, coaching. I've been in 25 countries, published 4 books, married to one wife, is a woman, and I have 2 girls, and I love what I do. So why am I sharing, why am I talking about this subject, and why am I streaming this? Because I noticed that whereas I used to do this privately, and parents would come to me to pay me, some parents who had big budgets for me to coach their children. I noticed that there are other parents who wanted to but could not afford my fees. So I said, you know what? I'm about to turn 50. Let me give as much as possible. So I said, okay, how can I reach more people? Let me do live streams. And today is the first day of doing this and in my life. So in case there are any hiccups or something like that, anyhow, even if you have experience, those things can happen. Just know it's my first time. And so this is my way of giving back, because there are people who have also given me without me paying them anything. And if my father was still alive, most likely wouldn't afford what Ethan Victory charges now. So this is my way of sharing my wisdom with both those who can afford and those who cannot afford to pay, but with this critical idea around confidence and self-esteem. Now, let's go to this clarity. What is confidence? So when we say confidence, it means that it's about believing in yourself. It's knowing you can try new things and that you matter. You trust yourself. You know you do your best. You try new things even if they seem hard. And you feel good inside about who you are. So feeling good about who you are, that's actually self-esteem now. Self-esteem is about you feeling good about yourself regardless. Meaning, regardless of what people think, regardless of what has happened in your life, you still feel great about yourself. That's self-esteem. Now, confidence is around execution. It's around having the certainty, the ability, the faith in your ability to do something. That's confidence. Confidence is about executing things, believing in yourself. Self-esteem is about loving yourself, appreciating yourself no matter what. So that's because some people wonder what's the difference. Well, that's the difference, my friend. So let's talk about confidence, the action, and what this really is and isn't. So one of the tenets and concepts that I would invite you to pay attention to is this, that you need to trust in your ability to handle the outcome, not to be perfect. And it's situational. You can be confident on a bicycle, but not in chemistry class, and that's normal. For example, if you put me on a horse to ride it, I would have no confidence around that. So self-confidence is situational. So as I'm thinking about it, is we are all confident in some aspects and not confident in other aspects, because confidence is around your ability to execute things, your faith to get things done in a sense. That's what gives you the confidence. Now, self-esteem means that even if you're not able to do something, you still appreciate and love yourself regardless. That's what self-esteem is about. So we are all confident. So by the way, you can type in the chat box, in which aspects are you confident? Yeah, it would be good to know. In which areas are you confident? Say, I'm confident around this. Is it sewing? Is it swimming? Is it speaking? Is it writing? Is it talking to strangers? Is it math? Is it English? I bet there's something that you're confident in. So it would be good, type in the chat box, say, I'm confident in this. So that would be cool to get a feel of the different tenets and abilities we have. So self-esteem, let's talk about the foundation for self-esteem. Okay. So when we talk about self-esteem, here is the overall picture around self-esteem. The overall sense of self-worth, the answer to do I deserve good things? And this is built on self-acceptance, not external validation, likes, grades, and other people's opinions. What I mean by that is if you go out and someone doesn't say nice things about you, you should still feel good about yourself, because then that communicates that you have a healthy sense of self-esteem. And my 8-year-old daughter recently, was it yesterday or 2 days ago, she was leaving home and said, Daddy, I look smart. I look smart. I said, yes, you do. I said, yes, by the way, even if other people don't say that I'm smart, I know I'm smart, and God also knows I'm smart. And I'm like, yes. So my prayer is that she stays with such sense of self-concept, not waiting for external validation. And I recall when I was in my late 20s, I had a girlfriend, and this, I don't know what happened. She said, how come you didn't say I'm smart? Oh Lord. So she was a lovely lady, by the way. No quarrels about that. But just to let you know that, listen, my encouragement is that you leave home. When you leave home and you're smart, tell yourself I'm smart. Look at yourself and know I'm smart. So whether people say you're smart or not, whether they appreciate your sense of style or not, just appreciate yourself. Now, if someone gives you advice, constructive advice over something, it's okay. Take it in. Sometimes my wife will tell me, that thing doesn't match with that. That shouldn't make me feel bad. I should appreciate about the advice. And if I receive a negative comment, so you need to be objective about feedback. There is feedback that is useful for you, there is feedback that is not as useful. And we'll be talking about that shortly. Does this make sense so far, by the way, what I'm talking about? Because I remember I'm not able to see you. It's not like I'm seeing your faces for me to be able to get a sense or a feel that we are together. So it would be useful if you can type in the chat box, say, this makes sense or this doesn't make sense, Ethan. You didn't, what do you mean by this? I'm not understanding this. So just communicate in the chat box such that I know. I want it to be as interactive as possible. I would really, really appreciate that. Okay, cool. So let's talk about mindsets to hack your system, to swap out the old code. And old code is like, look at it as a program. So what are those mindsets that would help us to move forward? So there are a couple of mindsets that would be very useful for you. And here they are, my friend. So one is the scientist mindset. So this is just data, okay? Failures, awkward moments, those are experiments. You're figuring out what works and what doesn't work, okay? Let's see, that it makes sense, okay, good. That the scientists, whatever happens in your life, that's data. You can look at it as feedback, okay? Thank you, Beatrice. Thank you, Teresa, for the feedback. So you need to look at and actually one of my teachers one day said that there is no success or failure, it's only feedback. That's it. Feedback to say that you're on track or off track. So once you see happenings in your life that way, then you start thinking differently. The other mindset is the editor mindset. Say, I curate my inputs. Who do I follow? What do I consume? Does it build me up or tear me down? So that's a very healthy mindset to have. So for me talking to you, like right now, it's within my purpose. Part of my purpose is to inspire people, add value to people, help people with life skills. These are things I wish I had learned when I was still at school. That's why in this Uncle Ethan series, I want to focus on students, because These are things I wish I had learned when I was younger. And I see when I'm coaching adults, whether it's communication or life and career development, I see these as gaps. And that's why I'm sharing this with you when you're still young, such that when you grow older, then you're better than us, the adults, how we've lived or who we've turned out to be. So that's part of my inspiration. So you need to think like an editor. And what that means also is when you're at school, not every proposal that your peers bring to your table is good for you. Not every let's chat, not every kabozi, not every jazz, not every chatting is healthy for you. So you have to edit. You need to edit the kind of friends to have in your circles. You need to edit which places you go to. You need to edit what kind of channels, social media channels you visit. So you need to think like an editor to ask yourself, does this help me to get better? That should be does this make me a better person? Does this push me to become a better human being? Will this get me closer to my goals and dreams? Because if it's not, get away. Don't go there. So you need to edit your life. The other mindset is the protagonist mindset. You're saying I'm the main character of my story, not an extra in someone else. You are the agent, you're not passive. And because one of the challenges I see people have is they start blaming their failures onto other people. And I'm here to propose to you that you do not want to live a life of complaint, of blaming. You want to live a life of ownership. And one of the ways to boost your confidence and self esteem is to own your story, own your life, and tell yourself, you know what? This is me, this is my life, and I choose to live my life the way I want it to be. And I'm going to make it happen the way I want it to be. And if it's, many years ago, I had someone say that if it's to be, it's up to me. So, meaning, if your life is to work, it's up to you. It's you to determine whether you want to make your life to shine or to be dim. It's up to you, my friend. So type in the chat box which mindset appeals to you the most: the scientist mindset, the editor mindset, or the protagonist mindset. I will tell you the one I love the most actually for me is the protagonist mindset. To know I'm the main character of my story. It's me to determine my life. And I lived a life of, for many years up to my mid 20s or early 20s or thereabouts, I lived a life of waiting for handouts, waiting for compassion from other people. Between say the protagonist mindset seems pretty cool. Yeah, me too. I find it to be cool. Huh? That doesn't mean that the others are not useful, but I'm just asking of those three, which one is your favorite? I love the other two also, but I also find the protagonist mindset to be super cool. So the key thing here to note is, what was it? Yeah, I was talking about. So at one time, I kept looking at myself as this orphan and all that. So I'd be looking for help. I would be seemingly helpless until when someone told me that you have to take charge of your life. I believe that was Jana Morris when I was doing some internships in the US then. And that changed my life to say, look, you have to take ownership of your life. Because when you take ownership, you feel powerful. If you're not doing well at school, just know I'm responsible. Not pointing fingers. I see my mommy did, my daddy didn't do this, or my teacher didn't do that, or my neighbors didn't, they were making noise. No, you own up. It's you to create results in your life. Again, I wish someone had told me these things because I kept pointing fingers and blaming others until my 20s. And I don't want that to happen to you, my friend. Okay, so what does it take to be the hero of your life? Let's talk about you being a hero in your life. a hero in your own story? Let's reflect on that. It stands for hand of fear. Even heroes feel it. Someone said that courage is not the absence of fear, but the mastery of fear. So even the so-called courageous people, when I say, "Oh, that guy is fearless," trust me, they feel the fear, but they do it anyway. Eh? I'll tell you something. Today is my first day to stream, and the first stream, just to let you know that. Okay, I'll talk about today. They are so. This is my first time stream, and then I was like, something happened in the first stream that didn't go well. I pray this doesn't. So did I feel a bit of fear? I wouldn't call it fear, a bit of anxiety, because today is my day one for streaming on YouTube. Okay, so just know that heroes feel the fear and they do it anyway, or they feel the anxiety and do it anyway. So that's how we should deal with it. Number two is embrace effort. The more effort you put in, the more chances for success. You know, there is a concept of inputs, then outputs. What you put in is what you get out. If you put in little, if you put no salt in food and the food is not properly seasoned, you don't blame the food. You're like, oh, I didn't put in the salt. You did not invest the effort to put in the salt. Now, some people say, oh, but I put in all the effort of reading so hard, but then I didn't score the results that I got, I was expecting. Those are some of the complaints I've had from some students and teenagers, and rightly so. So my answer to that also is twofold. One, it could be you're not doing the right practice, because I usually tell my girls that it's not perfect. Practice makes perfect. No, it is the right practice that makes perfect. Because if you practice the wrong things, then you'll become perfect at the wrong things. So you have to put in the effort, but in the right way. So that's one, in terms of how come you could be at school, you're putting in all the effort, not getting the results. It could be that your effort is not properly directed. It could be that your study methods are not proper. Or it could even be things like timing, the time you revise. All those are basics. Now, the second reason could also be that, listen, that's not part of your gifting. Because I was, but so and so puts in little and then they get a lot, while for me, I put in a lot and I get little. We are different, my friend. So that doesn't mean that you stop working hard. Just know that also, depending on your gifting, it can also impact the results. The R stands for recover from failure. I'll give you a personal experience I've just had today. So I did a live stream earlier in the day for children. So this one is specifically for teenagers, but for children. So something happened. So after the live stream, I was there for a little over an hour. Then someone sent me a message and said, okay, the recording I'm seeing ends at the minute 30 something when you said this. I was like, what's that? Then after I went and checked, and lo and behold, indeed I streamed up to the 30 something minute, but I kept going past the 1 hour plus. Why? There was something technical that happened, and I didn't know about it until when I had finished streaming. So, was I happy about it? No. Was I devastated about it? No. But I didn't feel good about it. But I had to recover quickly and say, you know what? I forgive you. So, well, it's okay. Okay, what can I do now? And so I'm planning to record that segment. And in case you check it out and it wasn't full, so yeah, planning to record that and share it with people. So you have to recover from failure. So for me, it was, and again, it is not, depending on how you look at it, it may not be failure, but data showing that I didn't produce the right result. But I had to recover, because if I didn't recover, then I wouldn't be talking to you. And notice I could have said, oh, but now what if the second one messes up? What happens? No, you just go. You just go. You never win until you give it a shot. The O is own your identity. Appreciate who you are and take note that, you know what, this is who I am, and be at peace with that. You have to be at peace with that, my friend, because we are different. So it would be good for you to type in the chat box, who is the hero that you admire or inspires you and why? Okay, that would be good. For me, it was the hero who inspired me and why was the late Nelson Mandela. And why? It was his resilience. I read his biography. The book is very thick. Walk to Freedom, I believe. The Long Walk to Freedom. Very thick book. I read it when I was at university. I loved his resilience, his leadership skills, the fact that he had a reconciliatory tone, meaning he wanted to forgive rather than fight his enemies. He wanted to forgive them when he became president, post-apartheid president. He had the powers or options to, send his tormentors into jail or hunt them down. He had that, but he didn't. So that's the reason why Nelson Mandela. He was very inspirational, very charismatic guy. So that's my reason. How about you? Who is your hero that inspires you the most and why? Okay, cool. Now let's talk about the strategy to build your squad. And I want us to look at squad as an acronym. Say, let me build my squad. A squad is like a team. Let me build my team. So let's talk about that. Okay. Let's talk about you building your squad or team. Okay. By the way, I'm waiting to see what kind of heroes speak to you. Number one, the S stands for stay authentic. Don't change for anyone. I was leaving home not about 2 days ago. I was leaving home. I typically always put on suits during work days, and my girls know that. I need to take some water. Just give me a moment. So my girls know that. So I was moving out of the bedroom. I was putting on a suit without a tie, without a pocket square. Say, but Daddy, you don't, neither putting on a tie nor a pocket square. So I said, look, I told my 8-year-old, I said, no, it's okay. She said, no, but Daddy, you are the CEO of Success Africa. You should look like success. I'm like, okay, right. And then I said, by the way, these guys, the meeting I'm going for, they are not very formal. So if I go in a suit with a tie and a pocket square, I will be overdressed. Then my 11-year-old said, but Daddy, it's not about blending in, but standing out. And that hit me like it. I was like, wow. Of course, I did not say with that, but in my heart, I was like, wow. And because I felt that the mindset that my children have are more important with whether I would blend in or not, I went back and put on a tie and a pocket square. So what I picked from that is twofold. Number one, dress the way you want to be addressed. Number two, I loved the concept from my 11-year-old who said, you don't have to blend in, you just need to stand out. Now, the truth is sometimes you need to blend in, but that's like 1 to 5% of the time. But 95 to 99% of the time, be you. So I was lowering my standards to blend in. Still, I believe it wouldn't have hurt, but I'm just giving it as a concept. Be authentic. The Q stands for question comparisons. That your journey is unique. So don't compare yourselves. I beg your pardon. U stand for uplift others. Support. This support builds confidence. When you support others, it will also support, you will be supported in the process. Okay, so Teresa says, my father is the hero for his humility, resilience, and embracing of people from all walks of life. Fantastic. You've had a wonderful mentoring experience, Teresa, and I hope you share that with your father if you haven't done so. A, act with integrity. Do what's right, not easy. When at one of my friends, she's a lawyer, and I overheard her say something that was very, very powerful. And her children were teenagers then. Said, look, what I tell my children is integrity is about the and leadership, self-leadership are those things you do when no one is seeing. So when you're in the bathroom, as an example, do you leave it clean or you just close, you leave it the way it is just because no one is seeing? So it's about doing what is right. The, there's a friend of mine, okay, we are not so close. Someone was bringing a book to me. He said, oh, I picked some money near the security outlet. He was entering the hotel, had entered the hotel, at Sky's Hotel, and I said, what should I do? So do I just keep the money? Do I give it away? What do I do? So I told him, look, since you picked it up from near a security checking point, it's okay. Take it back to the security fellows, and you never know, someone might come to ask for it. I said, if you had found that money somewhere in the open space where you're just alone on the way and there isn't suspicion that someone who is ahead of you is the one who dropped the money, that sort of thing, that to me is perfectly fine for you to pick the money. So anyhow, he took back the money. And integrity is important for your confidence and self-esteem because when you do negative things, then you will feel bad about yourself. Once you feel bad about yourself, that affects your self-esteem negatively. When you feel good about yourself, it boosts your confidence. Other one is define your vibe. Create your own narrative. What story do you want told about you? What kind of story do you want in your life? Okay. So I'm going to pick up speed a bit here because I really want to also open it up for Q&A. So just bear with me in that regard. All right. So let's talk about some strategies to boost your confidence. And one of the strategies is to be brave like Simba. And what we need to talk about is Simba in this context is an acronym, okay? So let's look at Simba, the acronym. How can you be brave like Simba? Number one, stand tall. Be proud of who you are. Don't let people diminish you. Trust me, there are people who want to pull you down. You have to stand tall. I stands for I am special. Tell yourself that. There's no one else like you and no one will ever be. M stands for mistakes. Mistakes are okay. Everyone makes them. I made a mistake. I've made mistakes. But you know what? Mistakes are teachers. They are not troublemakers. They are teachers. Look at them that way. When the mistake happens, learn from it. B stands for be courageous. Try even when scared. Make a move. Move. And A stands for ask for help. That strong kids ask questions. When you're in class, ask questions. When you don't understand something, ask. When I go to high-end hotels or restaurants and they have a dish that I don't understand, I always ask, oh, what's in this? What does this mean? I feel at peace to ask. The Chinese have a saying that only stupid questions are those that are not never asked. So meaning every question asked is an intelligent move. That ask and you shall receive. So ask for help from your colleagues, from teachers. I always encourage my children to ask for help from the teachers. Ask, 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 ask. The other strategy is you need to let it go like ELSA. So again, ELSA is an acronym, okay? So look at it that way, all right? So with ELSA, E stands for express your feelings. Don't hide how you feel. Tell people how you're feeling, unless you feel that if you express yourself, you'll be punished. Because I know there are some schools whereby if you talk about being unhappy with someone or something, you could get punished. Apart from those extreme cases, express yourself. L stands for let go of worries, but you can't control everything. If you're worried about rain, yeah, but you can't control rain. That every hour you spend worrying is an hour you'll never be happy. So being worried, you're stealing from your happiness. Be conscious of that. S, the else acronym, is shine your light. Show your talents proudly. Don't apologize. And we also live in a culture where some people feel like you showing off your expressing your talents that but you also like yourself, you like what in your own horn. And I'm here to tell you, look, it's okay to like yourself. So tell me, you want to hate me? You want me to hate me? You shouldn't hate yourself. You should like yourself. It's perfectly fine to like yourself. And Christ was very clear: don't hide your light under a bushel. If you have a gift, use it. If you're good at soccer, play it. If you're good at swimming, swim. If you're good at reading, read. Yesterday, I was meeting someone at office who was telling me that she loves serving. That's one of her gifts, service. A, accept yourself. You are perfectly you. So you need to know that you're unique and special and wonderful and powerful. All right? Good. Here are some wise words to remember. And these are very useful for you to take note of if you have where you're writing or something. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. So start small, dream big, but start wherever you are. I am here streaming this to you, and I could have waited for everything to be perfect, to have top-notch cameras, top-notch studio, top-notch this, top-notch that. I'll get there. But you know what? So let me start. That's life. You start where you are with what you have. The other one is that you're braver than you believe. You have more courage inside you than you know. What do I mean by that? There are things you achieved when you look back and you're like, hey, I didn't know I could do that. So you're brave. And one of my favorites is that you are brave, that when you fall 7 times, stand up 8. Never give up, keep trying. Just go one extra bit and you'll be amazed. The other one is be yourself. Everyone else is taken. You are the best you are the best you there is. No one has ever excelled and never ever will. That's why we use thumbs. That's why for identity they say your thumbprint. It's unique. It's true. Of all the 8 billion people, no one has this thumbprint like you do. And I was sharing earlier that you see this part of being unique is underrated. Can you imagine, say, beans feeling bad that they are not like sweet potatoes? If you had beans saying that, you will say, beans, you're crazy. Or if you had sweet potatoes complaining that they're not like beans, you will say you're crazy. Like, look, beans, you're useful. Sweet potatoes, you're useful. And yet you're different. My friend, that's you. For example, I'm doing what I'm doing. Most likely, you may not do it exactly the way I'm doing it. But guess what? There are things you also do that I can never do because we are different. But you know what? That's what makes life beautiful. The other analogy I like is that of soccer. There are strikers, there are midfielders, there are defenders, there's a goalkeeper. A goalkeeper is someone who stops the ball from going into the net. I love soccer. I'm an Arsenal fan, just to let you know. And so, anyhow, can you imagine a team just filled with goalkeepers or defenders or strikers? You say, no, that team wouldn't be strong. What makes a team strong is different strengths and abilities. The same way, what makes this world a better place, a wonderful place, is different gifts and talents. So Beans, they do celebrate their beanness, and the sweet potatoes, they celebrate their sweet potato-ness, if that English exists. So, but that's how you should think about your life. Okay, make sense? Let me know the chat box if it makes sense. So remember, consumption, auditing your social media. Does it inspire you or inspire insecurity? So what are you consuming? So remember, your input is going to affect your mindset. So you need to be very careful what you're consuming. Then emotional granularity, moving beyond good or bad to name specific feelings. So anxious, nostalgic, determined. So meaning be specific when you're defining your emotions. Very, very important. Boundary settings, saying no to protect your eyes digitally. Say, you know what, I don't visit those channels. I don't listen to that kind of music. So you need to be conscious of what you can do or can't do. You have to be specific. Self advocacy, ask for help, clarification, opportunity. Digital detoxing, schedule time offline to reconnect with your non digital self. Listen, tune in, listen to your creator. Very, very crucial. Here is some skills, your confidence toolkit. Number one is self-talk mastery. Reframe negative thoughts into strong, um, reframe negative thoughts into growth statements. So that's very crucial for us. Not for us, but for you, I beg your pardon. But even me too. Oh Lord. So the other one is goal setting, smart goals, action plans, emotional regulation. Feel it, process it, move through it. Okay. The other part is communication. Express yourself clearly and listen actively. So communication isn't just about talking about your interests, it's also about listening to other people's interests. In future, I believe I should talk about communication. Boundary setting, say no without guilt, say yes with intention. So, meaning you don't have to say yes to everything. Just because they are your friends doesn't mean that you say yes to them going to the wrong places, to having wrong conversations, to taking different actions and activities. Be have good manners, do the right things. Risk taking, calculated move outside your comfort zone. Do something that you've never done before. That's how you grow. You grow your abilities and confidence. Self expression, show your authentic self creatively. Digital wellness, curate feeds that inspire, not drain you. So there are channels that again will inspire you and those that will not. So you have to pay attention to that. Here are some daily habits you can do to boost your confidence on a daily basis. Okay. There are certain habits that if you do on a daily basis are going to take you to another level. One is one win journal entry. Every day ask you, where did I win? Where did I do well? Write it down. Okay. Then ask a question because it is through asking that you will, it's through asking that you will feel powerful. It's through asking that you will learn new things. Okay. The other one is one limiting belief challenged. So where are you limiting yourself? Where are you limiting yourself? Like one of the things that was um, I feel like I don't get anything. Okay, Momira Misha, I appreciate you typing in the chat box. What do you mean exactly? What's your question? Is it that you're not understanding what I'm saying, or yeah? So it kindly clarify. Give me a bit more detail. I'll be happy to support you or help you. And if there is something you don't understand, please highlight something specific. Say, what did you mean when you said this? If there is something that is not clear, okay, I would appreciate that. So what I would encourage you to do now is get in your notebook, write somewhere, what is that belief that you need to unlearn? So for me, one of those beliefs that I've been working at unlearning is say, okay, I don't need a perfect studio for me to do live streams. I can improve what I have with time, but I don't have to wait for perfection. So that's something I've had to address. Let's talk about the confidence level up system. Okay. Number one is awareness. Know your current level. Where are you at? On a scale of 0 to 10, for example, how is your confidence around public speaking? You need to know what it is. Number two, action. Take the first step. Let's use public speaking as an example. First step could be, you know what? I'm going to start by talking to my family. After dinner, I'm going to stand up and speak. 3, adjustment. Learn quickly. Can get a coach and then they advise you and say, oh, you need to change this, you need to add that. Number 4, consistency. Show up daily. Say, you know what, I'm going to stand up, even if it means me speaking to a mirror, I'm going to do that and speak. Every time I'm away, I'm going to speak. Number 5, celebration. Acknowledge wins. Don't just talk to yourself when you've messed up. And this is also a powerful lesson for leaders. Some leaders only communicate when something has gone wrong. And I'm here to propose to you that it's also important to communicate when something has gone right. By the way, type in the chat box any question you have around this subject about confidence and self-esteem. So then I know how to respond to questions now or later. What's your most burning question around what I've just communicated? And lastly, the next level up is expansion. That's how you level up. You say, no, this is, now you expand, you grow. You say, okay, I'm going now to move from just presenting from home. I'm going to start speaking when I'm at the workplace. That's now expansion. Okay. So for me, expansion would mean going to global audiences. That's what it means. So again, we are in different levels. But what would expansion mean for you? And you can write that one down. What would expansion mean for me to grow in my confidence? Okay. Please remember to type in the chat box in terms of the questions that you might be having. Okay. And then I'm encouraging you to say some of these words loud. Say it loud and say it proud. Say, I am worthy, I am brave, I can learn, I am great, I believe in me, I like myself, I love myself, I like myself, and I love myself. So communicate such things over and over and over again. Then over time, your confidence will skyrocket. Now, I would also encourage you to learn as many skills as possible, because when you learn skills, so for example, I know how to communicate, so I'm at peace. But guess what? I keep learning and getting better and better. Now I'm working at learning how to communicate online. Okay. So that's my next frontier. I know I'm exceptional at face to face. Now I need to keep improving on how I can become more exceptional at online engagements like this. Okay. So finally, I just want to, and then I will open it up to questions, to let you know that for me, my biggest turning point was when I discovered that I am created in the image of God, and if God is great and I'm created in God's image, therefore I'm great. So you need to remind yourself of that, to know that you're God's beloved and that you're special and you're